Okay, now if you could kind of talk a little bit about connecting with Cash Money and No Limit. Did you get with Master P first, or did you get with Cash Money, or
You know, it's funny about that. You know, people go back and forth on that. So the kind of the way I remember it was we had moved out of the apartment because we had outgrown it. We had like 7 or 8 people working out of our apartment. We had FedEx deliveries coming to the apartment. It just was not feasible anymore. So we moved out of the apartment and we moved into a small house that we rented. And we soon found out that we grew out of that house within a year. But while we were in that house, a record company called Big Boy Records, UNLV, what have you, drove out and pulled into our driveway with their boom cars and all their I didn't have Escalades, but they had Suburbans back then with like pimped out rims, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, a whole posse, right? And they pull in, and Charles at that time comes in, and he's like, yeah, I got some groups, you know, I got the Ghetto Twins, and I got, you know, Black Menace, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And those guys were just so chill and so easy to work with, and they had seen some of the stuff that we had done with Tony, right? And we'd done a couple other special effects stuff. And they were like, yeah, you know, I saw this Tony Draper guy. He had some pretty cool stuff. And we wanted to know, you know, can you guys do that for us too? And I was like, sure, man, let's do it. So we sat down, went through Partners in Crime, like Black Menace. We did, oh man, I can't even remember how many of them. They brought out the Ghetto Twins. They were fabulous. I was like, what cool ladies, right? So we started generating that type of artwork with these new special effects, just like pushing the limit. And once they brought that back to New Orleans, I believe Baby and Ronald took a look at that and said, wait a minute. And I believe that they came to us first. I am not sure of that timeline, but I am almost positive that Cash Money came before No Limit. They were probably really, really close, but Cash Money walked in and they were like, we want to do it. We want to do what these guys are doing. And I was like, all right, let's sit down and go through it. And then, of course, No Limit came in, and that was just this other world that, you know, when it's run by somebody with that much business savvy, it becomes a production house because he has set deadlines that have to be met because he's advertising through the rest of his product line. And that was the first time that I've ever met somebody with that much savvy, Master P. And it was pretty cool to work with him. We enjoyed working with him a lot.
wow, big shout out to Big Boy Records, because a lot of time they get left out, but really they was like at the forefront,
Yeah, man.
pushing New Orleans. And it's funny because New Orleans has always been like a mecca for music. You know, like as
Right.
long as
Right.
America been around, that's been like where music kind of evolved, especially for Black people. But a lot of times when hip hop, we think of New York and
Right.
the East Coast, but it gradually worked its way back down to the,
That's right.
to the
Yeah.
source. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You